Right, my impressions of the 2020 BMW S1000XR. Cue the intro. Right, well, first and foremost, before I begin this, I want to give out major props and appreciation to Shreveport Indian Cycles, who'd also do Kawasaki and Suzukis and BMWs as well, for kindly letting me take this baby out for a spin. It's a tall bike, but it's very deceptively tall, and I'll explain all that in a moment. Let's get the kickstand up. I'm on the balls of my feet here. I'm 5'10.5" All right, one of the things I was told about this, see that red line? As the engine warms up, the red line goes up and up and up to like the 10,000 mark. So now the red line's made it up to 8 as the engine's warming up. I'm in 5th gear doing like 57. I'm in a somewhat comfortable position. It's a strange sort of rider position. You are a little bit tucked. The mirrors do feel a bit close to you. It's a strange riding position, this. Like I said, I've got her in the road mode. You've got like what mode you got? You've got like the rain, road, and then dynamic pro, I think they call it. I'll check them out as I go in there. The seat does feel a little bit hard, but like I said, you are tucked. But the tank is really strange because it's like you can bury your knees under the tank and it kind of takes like the weight off your wrists. It's a strange ergonomic. So I'm in 6th gear. I really need to kind of hit a highway. Oh, you can feel the bumps. The suspension's adjustable. I don't know if it's adjustable on the fly. Dynamic suspension. Alright, let's just change the mode on this to dynamic. Alright, now as the temperature's gone up, now the maximum RP, maximum revs, has now gone up to like 10.5, so you could scorch this bike a little bit. So you got rain, road, dynamic, and a dynamic pro. I'm just doing the dynamic right now. I don't want it tearing off from underneath me. Like I said, these engines are normally tucked under the fuel tank of the BMW S1000. It's just been retuned just slightly to like give it more mid-range. And so I'm kind of like sitting high. It's definitely a bike for slightly taller people. I mean, it's probably no different than like the GS, to be honest with you, because it's so light and carries its weight really low that I'm not having a problem. I've actually got 1 foot on the peg and 1 foot flat on the ground, and I'm not feeling like I'm going to have a problem holding this baby up. Right, now then, what's the thing that they said about that? Oh, yeah, easy enough. Yeah, the windscreen there is like, it's not electric or anything, but it's easy enough to manoeuvre. Oh. Yeah, that was embarrassing stalling her like that, but you know, with like bikes that have got like, you know, they're torque and they're sort of like sportier, you need to give it more gas when you take off on it. If you're dealing with like the 6-cylinder chugger, like, you know, the K1600, you could practically take off on just a idle. So like I said, all of the controls are just like you'd find on any other BMW. They've really sort of done everything they can to make sure that, like, you know, there's a lot of familiarity on the get-go, right down to like the fog lights and the cruise control, the emergencies lights and everything. You've got your trigger for your brights, your mode and your heated grips and everything. Yeah, everything there is like your whiz wheel. Like I said, this is just the first impressions video on the BMW like S1000XR, and I've got to fess up a few things there. Like, you know, I love every bike, every set of 2 wheels. If it's there for its purpose, you know, I'm pretty much down with it. You know, if it's an off-roader or if it's a dual sport or a sports bike, its intended purpose is its intended purpose. And as a result of that, I'm very much in line with with appreciating it for what it was designed for and who it was designed for. Like I said, when she's in a normal riding mode, like even the dynamic, she's not like taking off like a sports bike. So she's doing her thing. Alright, so what else have we got here? Let's see what Dynamic Pro's like when we take off from the lights here. So far, even though the padding on the seat feels pretty thin, I'm not uncomfortable, at least not at this early stage. I could almost feel that it could be a problem down the road, but then, you know, it probably wasn't really designed for me as like for what my intended purposes are. Now, the power progression on this is actually quite linear. It's not like what I was fearing, like, you know, with like some of these major sports bikes, like you touch that throttle and she tears off on you. I've got to as open as wide as I can go, and she's happy just to, like, you know, potter along. Just want to make sure that the deal was on. Is it impressing me? To be honest with you, I'm not as impressed as I thought I was going to be. The shift assist obviously is smooth as silk. Now, I've been using the clutch and whatever ever since, but I'm so used to like using the clutch on my K1600 that it's a habit that I've got to kind of remind myself about. Now, it's not a hydraulic clutch, it's a cable clutch, but I've never really known that to be a problem. Alright, so she wants you to know she's alive. Yeah, when you hit that power band, you know it. See, I'm used to like just raw torque getting you up there. This bike is all about the power band. And yeah. When you hit that power band, she comes alive. So yeah, if you wanted to get treated like a sports bike, she's happy to oblige you. Hit that power band and then you feel it. But what's its intended purpose? Well, it is like a sports tourer. It's the sort of thing that I would see, like, you know, your typical European geezer, like, you know, pouncing about on the French Alps on it. Or like, you know, on the Italian side, taking, you know, heading down to like, you know, Sicily or something, going ciao. Now we need to do a brake check. The back brake, well, the ABS kicks in on the back brake. Right, well, I'm going to pull into the CenturyLink building here. She's easy to control, she's very manoeuvrable. Yeah, just like... Oh, she's standing by with a hill start. Let's find neutral. Let's get that. Okay, kickstand takes a bit of getting used to. My foot peg's in the way. Okay, so you've got a little knob on the end of the kickstand now that you need to use your heel on. Right. So, you got the BMW, you got their own like dual brake system on there. Got a lot of full calipers and all that, and then you got like the two at the back there and all that. That's a little wee exhaust pipe in it, but. And there's, so you got your like your fog lights and all that. I mean, no sort of no self-respecting sort of like sports cruiser should go without anything like that. Got your LEDs and all that. Nice little tidy back end there. Your little deal for the top box. And you've got like the handles here for like the side saddles, or like, you know, whatever's happy there, passengers and pillions and all that fun stuff here. What does she look like when you see her coming up there? She looks aggressive. I mean, I do like it. She's got an angry look on her and all that fun stuff there. I like it. I think she's got a lot going for her. BMW S1000XR has 165 horses and 84 foot-pounds of torque. Now that left me feeling a bit confused, because like with normal quote-unquote legal riding, this bike it's almost sluggish. And with so little difference between the riding modes, you could be forgiven for thinking that you're riding one of those 500cc dual sport commuters. But when you get into the power band, this bike comes alive and tears off like breakneck speeds. But to get into the power band, you have to ride it like you're on the track. While it's all fun living in that power band, and believe me, it really is fun being there, you're always putting your life or license at risk. I wanted to approach riding this bike in terms of what it was designed to do. And for that, it's a sort of light sport tourer. Though I quickly found out that it leans more towards the sport. At £500 it's as light as a feather to hold up, given its seat height, and it's extremely manoeuvrable. Though you have to wonder what it would be like to handle with a full load of luggage, panniers, a top box along with a passenger. And, you know, the 84 foot-pounds of torque will need to be compensated with much higher revs. I think BMW should have put their latest shift cam tech into this bike to at least give you all the torque at the lower rev range, because I wasn't all that impressed with this bike for the purpose of touring, but as a sports bike I loved it. I just wish that BMW didn't tune out that whopping 40 horses out of that 999cc inline 4 engine. The S1000RR sports bike has 205 horses to make your eyes water. The S1000XR, however, is a tamed down version of that engine. And if BMW wanted to give this bike more mid-range, it didn't work too well, as far as I was concerned. I don't know, maybe it's just me. But to ride this bike to its fullest potential means kicking the passenger off, ditching the luggage, taking it to the track where you can have so much fun, leaving so many other similar sort of sports bikes in the dust, even in its stock configuration. Alright, let's run back to the dealership. And the dealership I'm going to, like I said, is Shreveport Indian. I want to give a huge shout out and a huge thanks to all the boys there. They're diamonds, absolutely diamonds. Yeah, so in like the lower rev range, she's just a typical, ordinary, not very impressive bike. The moment you crank it, she's happy to take you anywhere you need to go. Crank it down a couple of gears, and then she comes alive and she sounds angry. I sort of get what a lot of the other reviewers are saying about this bike. She really could have benefited from the like the cam changer. Yeah, the Shift Assist Pro. I could get used to it. So anyway, if you do find yourself over in Shreveport, Louisiana at like the BMW, like what, the Indian dealership, tell them I sent you. Well, I'm going to return this baby back to its rightful owners. And if you enjoyed this review, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button, it's just down there. And there's some more videos hovering around here somewhere. This has been the Cockney Biker. Everyone, you take care of yourselves and ride safe. And as always, laters.